Welcome to hockey season. Here we go. Still in September. No, it's been a good summer. I think for the student athletes, they got an opportunity to spend some time in Madison as they've done in the past. Going to summer school, enjoying last year's national championship, but probably most importantly, an opportunity to focus on what they need to do to get prepared for this upcoming season. We've been on the ice a few times with them. Obviously, our official start date was this past Saturday, and open up down in Lindenwood Friday and Saturday of this upcoming weekend. So what I've seen on the ice, I'm very impressed with. The kids have certainly refocused and put their thoughts and their energy into what they can do to become better players, and look forward to the new players getting adjusted to the way we do things here in Madison and within our program, and again, impressed with the way they've gone about their business. We haven't been in touch and contact with them too much just because of the rules, but what I've seen up to this point is very encouraging, and now we have to touch a lot of things before we get ready for our first game Friday night, so that's our position, but the players, they're in good spirits. It's a great time of year for the coaches. Everybody's excited about what's happened this past summer. I look forward to the challenges that every season brings upon us. This year being no difference, we get an opportunity this year to play Boston College, an opportunity to play Harvard again. And so, we might end up playing Colgate, Northeastern, Robert Morris. So the schedule is going to be challenging, and certainly some of the teams that played in the NCAA tournament last year, we're going to have a chance to play against. But those games certainly make you better, and look forward to those opportunities. We got a couple of venues that we normally don't play in. We get a chance to do that down in Nashville and then again in Pittsburgh, and so it'll be a fun year. Players are excited. Certainly the coaches are excited, and let's drop the puck and play.
Todd?
Mark, did you guys have to transition from last year, the excitement, everything that happened over the summer, to this year, and maybe just draw a line and say, look, the slate's clean. What you did last year was great, but now you've got to go out and earn it again?
I think, probably from a player's perspective, it's probably a little bit more challenging to do that, but I think them players spending, time in Madison during that 8-week summer session that we have, they can enjoy what the past has given them, but more importantly, they can start to refocus on, the future and what they need to do individually to prepare themselves for this upcoming season. As I mentioned earlier, I've liked what I've seen. From a coaching standpoint, I don't know if we're just not very smart or don't handle it real well, but usually what ends up happening, you win something like we did last spring, within a short period of time, like a day or two, you're trying to figure out what summer's going to look like and how you're going to prepare for next year. So we probably don't take enough time to enjoy some of the successes we have as coaches, but that's just part of the business we're in. You're always like, what's next? What do I have to do next to prepare myself and make sure I'm on top of things? And so from a coaching perspective, and my assistants probably are no different. You're thinking on line combinations, power play combinations, where do we need to strengthen up? And so that's where we're at. So it's nice to have gone through it. It's nice for the players to have gone through it, but, we have things of much more importance to worry about right now as far as, getting ourselves organized for this upcoming season.
Brian?
Oh, you have some holes to fill from players that have since departed from last year. One of them, Daryl Watts, is coming into the lineup. What can fans realistically expect from this young lady?
Well, I think similar to our freshman, she's obviously played a couple years of college, had great success at Boston College, and so from a viewer's standpoint, obviously you're going to see a seasoned player, someone that's experienced, someone that's a veteran, someone that's had success. The challenges for her will be adjusting to a new coaching philosophy, a new environment, her teammates, her roommate, a new campus, a new school. But similar to the incoming freshman I've had a chance to be on the ice with a few times right now, every day she's gotten better. She's got a big smile on her face. She's happy. And so I think as time goes along, she'll just get more comfortable with, being a Wisconsin Badger instead of, playing for another team. And some of the things we get a chance to do this year, I think she's going to certainly enjoy. We're going to do Fill the Bowl again February 16th against Ohio State, which is an experience, not many players in college hockey on the women's side get to enjoy. So hopefully we'll be able to fill it up and provide those kids an experience that they can take with them the rest of their lives. But she's doing well. I think her skill level will be seen quite quickly, and obviously, depending on who she's playing with, this past weekend, or we had her with Abby and Sophia Shirley, and looks pretty good. But we're just starting out, and it's a long season, and I'm excited to continue to work with her.
Todd?
When you gave out the rings that they earned last year over the weekend, can you share some of the reactions you saw on their faces when they opened the box, and what kind of struck you about that? I mean, you've been through it a few times, but what this group saw when they opened those ring boxes?
Well, in the past, I've invited everybody, that's going to get a ring to my house. So we have dinner, and then we pass them out, but nobody's allowed to open them up until everybody gets them. So you get an instant reaction, and so it's a lot of excitement, a lot of hoopla, a lot of screaming, like, oh my gosh, it's like, and so it's fun because as we've done in the past also, the seniors from last year are part of the group that put them together. And so they have ownership in it. And so you try to have each group and each ring tell a story. So 10 years from now, they'll look at that ring and it's going to tell a story with the different things that are on it. And so as much excitement as I saw, Friday night in my basement in my house, 5, 8, 10, 15 years from now, they'll look at it, and I think they'll really appreciate having the opportunity to have won one.
I just follow up on that. One of the things that it says on the ring is "find a way." How does that fit into last year's story? What do those words mean to you?
Those words, going into the tournament, and especially our last game, just find a way to win it. I mean, we've been in that position before the last 2 or 3 years. We've come up short a couple times, and it was just one of those messages that I was trying to get them to understand what it was going to be, win that face-off, block an extra shot, make an extra play, find a way to get to the finish line and make sure that we win this thing. And so just these little things that you do as coaches to try to get them to focus in on some of the small things that are going to make a difference within the game. Instead of keeping, a lot of players get caught up on the end. If we win this thing, it's going to be fun to react like this or to do this, but you're not there yet. You haven't crossed the finish line. And so just trying to hone in on some of the little things that, my experience tells me that if you're able to do that, it gives you a better chance to finish it off and end up winning that game. And we were able to do it. So 10 years from now, when they look back at it and they look at that, they'll remember, some of the things that were talked about prior to that game and during that game in the locker room.
Jay?
When did rings get to be the size of a Buick, and does anybody ever wear them anywhere?
I would say your second question, probably not, just because some of the girls' hands aren't that big and they get big. But it was interesting. I remember the first year we won it in '06, and seniors got together. They put together a beautiful ring. But I think when we won it again in '07, we need a bigger one, and then it was a bigger one. And so it's fun to watch them put it together, and each ring tell their own story. And I might like a bigger one, you might like a smaller one, and they decide what they want to do, and we're able to put them together. And again, you probably don't wear it too often, just because you probably need a wrist brace to put on your hand because it's so heavy.
Todd?
Okay. Can you speak to the respect level that the coaches and the other players have for Mackenzie Steffen, and maybe how she got to become the captain this year, what she's done to kind of earn that respect level inside the room?
I think for a lot of players, to earn respect is what you do on a daily basis. When you first come on campus, how you conduct yourself, not only at the rink, but when they're out about socializing, doing different functions. How do you conduct yourself? And I think over a period of time, there's kids that will stick out, kids that have those leadership qualities that some other kids may not have, or it may not be in their DNA. And I think, for McKenzie, it's, since day one, the way she's conducted herself, the way she's called upon her teammates, even, when her freshman or sophomore year, people coming up to her and asking her for advice, or her being a mentor to some of our younger players as she's gotten older within the program. And, it's just a tribute to the way she's been and handled herself, the 3+ years that she's been on campus. And I think the respect that she's gained from her players shows in that, she's going to be a good leader. Our whole leadership group with our assistant captains, I'm very excited to work with, and I think they'll do a great job for us this year.
Brian?
Could you please evaluate AJ's introduction of you in his press conference debut
Yeah,
at
I
the
didn't
front
realize,
table?
I didn't realize he got promoted, but outstanding job. And the only thing that's missing, I thought he might have his ring, and he's holding it up here this afternoon while he's doing it, but I didn't see that. So his wrist must be sore from the last 2 days of wearing it.
Yep. Todd?
There's some. I want to follow up that. Your defense lost two really key components, and McKenzie probably can help, lift up what replacement players can do there. And it seems like there's going to be more minutes for some players, some younger players that maybe haven't had them in the last couple of years. How will they adjust? What are you looking for players that are going to be getting those extra minutes this year?
Well, I think, if they're juniors or seniors, some of the things they've learned over the last couple of years and their experience should make them more comfortable if they gain more minutes, and certainly should help with their confidence. Some of the younger players getting into different roles and gaining more minutes is just through, their ability to, practice the way they practiced last year, the way they've trained this past summer. I mean, as I look at the group, everybody should be pretty comfortable and pretty confident in what they can do on the ice. And now it's a matter of, the coaches trying to find the right pieces and the right line combinations. Obviously, one of the things that we have to work as a coaching staff is to, we have 3 young defensemen, 3 freshman defensemen, and they're going to, be asked to play. And so it's our job to work with them here, especially the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season, bring them into the fold, get them an understanding of, what the college game's all about, and, get them on the ice and get them those experiences. So first couple of weekends, who's more comfortable than the other player, who, warrants playing a little bit more than somebody else, and continue to work with them in practice. But it should be a fun group. I mean, like I say, the practices we've had up to this point have been good. Now it's, try to put a game plan together and go down this weekend and find a little bit more about our team.